Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Allo Mobile video, and today we are back with Allo Mobile My Team, and it has been a minute because of Monoposto My Career finishing off season 5, but now we can fully focus on Allo Mobile My Team with the SPYT Williams F1 team, and we're going to jump straight into the action where I get taken out in qualifying not once but twice. Meaning we will start from the back of the grid in Dubai. And the reason why I'm not really paying too much attention to Dubai is because this race, or this video, is a double episode. So let's get straight into the highlights of Dubai. We go into turn 1 by overtaking the AI who slowed down, meaning we get up to P16 by the end of sector 1. And then later on, we do end up side by side with our rival Daniel Ricciardo, as we established in the last video, and once again we get taken out by the Racing Bull car, which gives me front wing damage and sends me into the wall. And I try to overplay my hand here by waiting to see if the game will give me a safety car, but unfortunately there was no sign of a safety car and I've been disqualified. That is suboptimal. So yeah, suboptimal race to be honest in Dubai, but not really the biggest issue in the world because driving on a pad around that track is already painful anyway, and due to being crushed out in qualifying, I went into that race with no practice whatsoever. Meanwhile at the front, Max Verstappen, the world champion, takes the win and now closes in on the two Ferraris who are leading the championship. But now we're going to set the record straight in Australia. We're going to finish a Grand Prix here this time around, and what on earth is George Russell doing? Get off me, man! Anyway, moving on to the rest of the weekend, and there's one thing that I must address. We are going to turn on ABS because locking up with the new simulation settings is god-awful. If you go wide into the grass, you might find yourself out of the race, and I cannot quite risk it anymore. But anyway, we got into Q3 only to crash out anyway. However, for the first time in the series, we have a double Q3 appearance for the Williams F1 team. So I may have crashed out in Q3, but we will start 9th and 10th on the grid respectively. Meanwhile, Hamilton got pole, while Lando Norris got P16, a little bit similar to real life there in Baku. But we get onto the grid and realize a major issue already. As you can see, it is raining, yet the AI, apart from Sainz and Tsunoda and myself, are all on the dry tyre, and I know that it's going to dry up immediately. Probably by lap 3 we'll have a fully dry track. So we are finished. Me, Sainz and Tsunoda, who are on the intermediate tyres, are done, and we skip all the way to lap number 8. I hit the wall and I hit the wall again, and I'm out of... All of a sudden it stopped raining on lap number 1 into turn 1. We make contact with my teammate and now it really is looking possible to get through sector 1. However, I get pushed off the track, tried to rejoin, and the rain has returned here on lap number 2, but we make contact with Tsunoda. But don't worry, we move on. Can we keep the car out of the wall? Please. I will not lie to you. The amount of brain cells that I lost trying to do this race is extraordinary. But this attempt is the one, as we rev up to 5 red lights here in Australia, and we get underway and get a load of wheel spin. A terrible start off the line. However, the AI do tussle with each other going into turn 1, allowing me to make up the lost time there. I nearly wipe out my teammate, but thankfully we do get through turns 1 and 2 without any contact. And look at the tyre advantage we have down the back straight. We're going to dive bomb multiple cars here, and Oscar Piastri really is trying to fight back, but thankfully he couldn't spin me around there. So I'm up into P6 already, but I do know that the drivers ahead of me and behind me are going to have a massive advantage if they don't hit down the inside of Verstappen. I know that I need to make progress here because the track will dry out very quickly, and I might even have to go into the pit lane at the end of this lap So down the inside of the Mercedes of George Russell. However, Sainz wants to have a look. A fellow intermediate runner. He also knows that time is of the essence here. And he goes round the outside of me there. What a move from the Ferrari. We're going into the penultimate corner. And we make contact. And I've got damage. So I may as well go into the pit lane. But to my shock, everybody is going into the pit lane, apart from Sainz and Tsunoda, who are on the intermediate tyres. But what are the AI pitting for? I know that I'm going to be going onto the dry tyres here. We'll go aggressive and put on the softs. Meanwhile, the AI are on the intermediates as I get held up. And what? And we are now in P8, just in front of the McLaren. We're not going to talk about what the hell just happened there in the pit lane. We're not even going to consider it. We're going to move on here like nothing happened. Onto the soft tyres we go. And I know that the AI are on the intermediate tyres, which is a very stupid decision because the track is drying out. So we're going to actually be in contention for a podium when the AI eventually go back onto the dry tyres. However, we do need to be careful because the soft tyres will go off very quickly and I might need to make another pit stop of my own. However, for now, we're going to manage our tyres and move up to P3. For the first time ever, we're looking good for a podium here. As we move on to lap number 8, as I'm hunting down the V-carb of Yuki Tsunoda. We're both looking good to get our first ever podiums in the sport. However, of course it couldn't be plain sailing. My phone lagged and I've gone onto the grass and spinning around, and by some miracle, I do not have damage. However, that 14-second gap is now a 4-second gap to Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. And now, my podium is at jeopardy. And looking at the lap times that the front runners are able to do, I might be in big trouble here, going into the final few laps. We move on to lap 10, and by the end of the lap, I did push as hard as I could, going purple in Sector 2. But there is a big problem now. My tyres are starting to drop off. I do set a new PB in the race, but we are still in big trouble from Sergio Perez behind. And now we move on to lap number 12, and Checo in that Red Bull has caught up to me now, and now we're in big trouble. Going through the final sector, we just about stay ahead of him for now. As we go into the penultimate corner, Perez has so much more grip on that outside line and tries to drag me off the track. But thankfully, the contact model did not decide to ruin the race for me, and I just about stay ahead. But with the tyre wear that I have, it is absolutely impossible to keep him behind. Perez and Hamilton go down the inside at turn 14, and that is game over. There is absolutely zero way I'm going to be able to keep up with a Red Bull and a Mercedes in a Williams. There are 2 laps to go, but if I can just try and keep DRS, maybe there's a bit of a hope, as Hamilton and Perez make contact at turn 1, so that helps me get straight back up into P4. But Hamilton, knowing that the podium is literally in front of him, he will want to get past me once again, and down the inside he goes, and I can still do nothing. If anything, I actually cannot turn due to the default setup and tyre wear. And look at that. I get a radio message that reminds me that you can get a puncher on this game. And in that way, I'm a little bit grateful that these tyres haven't capitulated yet. We move on to the final lap though, and I'm not able to re-overtake the Mercedes. In fact, I overdrive and go off the track, allowing Leclerc in the second Ferrari to go back through into 5th. But it may not be a podium, but thankfully, we have finished a damn race in Mobile MYTEAM. My god, we're only 3 races into this series, and I already feel like breaking my controller by throwing it into a wall. This race was taxing, but we did manage to get something out of it, and that is our first ever points in Formula 1 as a driver and as a team. Technically, actually, well, not technically, due to us actually being Williams at the moment. But that is not important. Don't think about it too much. What is important is that Sainz has won another Grand Prix. He's looking to dominate this World Championship. And I have gone ahead and gotten points for Williams, while Sonoda, our rival, got a podium. So that isn't ideal, but what can you humanly do about it when your game lags completely? That is the end of today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content, and be sure to stay tuned for more Allo Mobile My Team content dropping in the next few weeks. But I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.
To live life golden, yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. They're about to see us shine, 'cause we're golden.